German engineering. Two words that push people to drop $80,000, $90,000, even $120,000 on an SUV. And at first, it feels completely justified. The drive is silky smooth, the cabin feels like pure luxury, and everything screams success. But then year 4 rolls around. The warranty runs out, the first serious repair bill hits, and suddenly, that once precision-engineered machine turns into a financial nightmare parked in your driveway. Here are 8 German SUVs that have lost nearly all their value by 2026. Let's get into it. Number 8. Volkswagen Touareg. Ask 10 car enthusiasts to name a Volkswagen SUV, and 9 of them will say Tiguan. Nobody remembers the Touareg, and that forgettability is exactly the problem. The first-generation Touareg shared its platform with the Porsche Cayenne and the Audi Q7, which sounds impressive until you realize it also inherited their maintenance costs without any of their brand prestige. The V8 started around $43,000 and drank fuel like it was free at 14 miles per gallon. The V10 TDI diesel pushed past $70,000 and cost a fortune to keep alive. Transfer case failures, drive shaft center bearing collapses, and coolant leaks were common across the lineup. That $70,000 V10 TDI can now be found for under $5,000. The problem is that a $5,000 Touareg still needs Porsche-level parts prices to keep running. Nobody wants to spend $3,000 fixing a vehicle the rest of the world thinks is a Tiguan. Number 7. BMW X6. BMW invented the coupe SUV segment with the X6, and the market has been punishing them for it ever since. The first-generation E71 that launched in 2008 asked buyers to accept less cargo space, worse rear visibility, and a more cramped back seat, all in exchange for a sloping roofline that looked sporty from certain angles. New prices started around $63,000 for the base xDrive 35i. Today, clean examples with reasonable mileage trade from $6,000 to $8,000. The twin-turbo N63 V8 in the xDrive 5.0 I was especially problematic. Oil consumption issues, turbo coolant line failures, and valve stem seal leaks earned it the reputation as one of BMW's most troublesome modern engines. The X6 proved that combining the worst qualities of a coupe with the worst qualities of an SUV creates a vehicle nobody wants to buy twice. Number 6. Audi Q7. The original Q7 that ran from 2007 through 2015 was massive, heavy, and absolutely brutal on long-term owners. The 4.2L V8 had a timing chain assembly buried at the back of the engine, meaning a replacement required pulling the engine or dropping the subframe. That job alone runs between $4,000 and $7,000. Carbon buildup on the intake valves plagued the supercharged 3.0 TFSI, adding another $1,500 to $2,000 every 60 to 80,000 miles. Factor in air suspension failures at roughly $2,000 per corner, and you have an SUV that actively punishes anyone who tries to keep it running past 100,000 miles. A Q7 that listed at over $60,000 in 2010 now sells for around $6,000 to $9,000. The math only works if nothing breaks, and something always breaks. Number 5. Porsche Cayenne First Generation. The 955 and 957 Cayenne transformed Porsche's financial future when it launched in 2003, but it is now draining the finances of anyone who buys one used. The biggest killer is the coolant pipe that runs through the engine valley on V8 models. When it fails, and it almost always fails, coolant pours directly onto the engine. The repair requires removing the intake manifold and costs between $3,000 and $5,000. The base V6 models avoid that particular disaster, but still suffer from transfer case failures and worn suspension bushings. Insurance companies are losing interest in covering these too. Parts are expensive, and specialist labor is required for most jobs. The vehicles themselves are only worth $8,000 to $15,000 depending on condition. Spending $5,000 to fix a $12,000 vehicle is not enthusiasm. It is denial. Number 4. Mercedes-Benz GLE Coupe. Mercedes looked at the BMW X6 and thought they could do it better. They were wrong. The first-generation GLE Coupe, internally known as C292, took the already expensive GLE platform and added a coupe roofline that eliminated rear headroom and cut cargo space significantly. Buyers paid a $10,000 to $15,000 premium over the standard GLE for the privilege of less utility. The 43 AMG version packed a twin-turbo V6 that was genuinely fun to drive, but the 9-speed transmission hunted between gears constantly, and the air suspension developed leaks around 60,000 miles. Original sticker prices north of $75,000 have collapsed into the mid-teens on the used market. When you can buy the more practical standard GLE for the same price, nobody is choosing the coupe version. If you are learning something from this video, consider subscribing. I cover automotive deep dives like this every week. Now, let us get to the top 3. Number 3. Audi e-tron, Audi's first real attempt at an electric SUV, launched in 2019, with a starting price around $75,000. By 2025, those same vehicles were selling for under $18,000. That is over 75% depreciation in 6 years, making it one of the fastest depreciating vehicles ever produced, regardless of brand. The original driving range, around 204 miles, was underwhelming compared to Tesla competitors when it was new. And as newer electric vehicles pushed past 300 miles, the e-tron's range looked even worse. Software updates helped, but not enough. Battery degradation concerns keep cautious buyers away from the used market, and the rapid pace of electric vehicle development means a 2020 e-tron already feels like a generation behind. The vehicle itself is actually well built. The interior is beautiful. The ride is quiet and refined. None of that matters when the market says your $75,000 SUV is now worth less than a loaded Honda Civic. Number 2. BMW iX. BMW's flagship electric SUV arrived in 2001 with polarizing styling and a starting price of over $83,000 for the xDrive 5.0. 2 years later, used examples were trading for under $45,000. The controversial design alienated traditional BMW buyers who wanted something that looked like, well, a BMW. The split headlight face and smooth body panels read more like a concept car that accidentally went into production. Mechanically, the iX is actually solid. The dual motor setup delivers over 300 miles of range and impressive acceleration, but the iDrive infotainment system buried essential controls behind touchscreen menus, frustrating owners who just wanted to adjust the climate without navigating 3 screens. The real problem is perception. Luxury electric vehicle buyers went to Tesla or waited for newer auctions. Traditional BMW buyers bought an X5. The iX fell into a no man's land that the used market reflects brutally. Number 1. Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV. Mercedes built the EQS SUV to be the electric S-Class of SUVs, a flagship that would convince wealthy buyers to go electric without sacrificing a single ounce of luxury. It launched in 2022 with a starting price north of $105,000. 3 years later, those same vehicles have lost over 60% of their value. A $105,000 SUV trading in the low $40,000. The interior is stunning, with that massive hyperscreen dashboard stretching across the entire width of the cabin. The ride quality is genuinely excellent, and the roughly 300 miles of range was competitive when it debuted. But the EQS SUV had problems that no amount of luxury could fix. The software was buggy at launch, frustrating owners who expected Mercedes-level polish. Charging speeds lagged behind newer competitors. And the styling, well, sleek, confused buyers who expected an SUV to actually look like one. Mercedes even paused United States production temporarily in 2025 to realign with demand. When your flagship electric SUV needs a production pause 2 years after launch, the market is sending a very clear message. The EQS SUV is a remarkable piece of engineering that almost nobody wants to buy at full price, and the used market is making that painfully obvious. So, what is the takeaway from all of this? German engineering still produces some of the finest vehicles on the road, but engineering excellence does not protect you from catastrophic depreciation. The badge on the hood does not determine what the vehicle is worth 5 years from now. If you're in the market for a German SUV, buy used. Let someone else absorb the massive first-owner hit. And if someone tries to sell you a first-generation Touareg as a bargain, remember that the purchase price is just the entrance fee. The real cost is everything that comes after. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing, and we will see you in the next one.